Welcome to CoBB, Conversations on the Business of Brands with Sudeep Chawla and Sharavan Raghavan.
So great. There's a good news for our listeners today. We get to interview somebody who I have known for long. I haven't interacted significantly with him over the years, but both of us studied in the same B school, in the same class, and were part of the same, what I should call a secret league called the MSA. We will talk a little bit more about it. He was the media secchi at that point in time, and somebody who has now grown to be the guru of product marketing and has a number of laurels against his name. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you Lijo Isac. Hi, Lijo.
Hey, hi, Sudeep.
Hey, welcome to CoBB.
Yeah, it's a pleasure being here.
Okay, excellent. So rather than me telling you more about Lijo, I will leave Lijo to do a little bit of introduction, and I'll only highlight the embarrassing parts of his journey that he doesn't want to talk about. So why don't you give our listeners a little bit of your career introduction, Lijo, and then we will take it from there.
Hey, yeah, thanks, Sudeep. We have known each other for last 20 years, when we enrolled in the same B school. And when we are working in the same student organization, it has been a really long time. So unlike most of the batchmates who went to FMCG, consulting or IT, I chose to go on a different path. So entered into internet after B school, 1 year after B school, after dabbling with a product company, then have been in internet throughout. So started with rediff.com as one of the youngest product managers at that point of time. Straight out of B school, the first B school batch that got into any product management role anywhere in India. Then worked with a couple of startups. One of them got acquired by Flipkart. The first ever acquisition of Flipkart, it was a startup called WeRead, which was into books, reviews, etc. At that time, Flipkart was only into selling books. Then worked with another startup, which was incubated at Wharton, which was trying to solve the trust for celebrities problem. The same thing that Elon Musk is trying to do through the blue tick now. We tried solving that in 2009. Then the e-commerce way was just starting off in India. So started with a company called Homeshop 18, which belonged to Network 18, was one of the founding members of the e-commerce team, worked there for 5 years. Then we got acquired by Reliance. So we got acquired by Reliance into what is currently known as Agio. I worked on the entire e-commerce experience there, primarily the buy-side experience, setting up search, browse, merchandising, the checkout, the payments. So it was a really good journey out there for 5 years. After which that option came to move to Reliance, but I decided to again continue with startups because I have already fallen in love with startups and worked with Practo for 3 years. There it was a slightly different role. From product management, I shifted to growth marketing or more of product marketing. So worked in Practo for 3 years, grew their traffic from 2 million to 20 million over 3 years, launched multiple initiatives, product-led initiatives without spending money, how to do marketing. That was the primary problem statement there. Then after Practo, I decided to take a small career break. I acted in a BBC TV documentary, which was a very popular show in TV called Great Canal Journeys. So it was an enjoyable journey where, we lived in boats in Brahmaputra and, Kerala for 1 week and shot with, two octogenarians from the British theatre scenes. It was a really enjoyable journey, and then moved back to product management, started with the wealth management division of Paytm. Again, I was a part of the founding team there, which launched a product which is currently known as Paytm Money, set up the mutual fund part of that business, worked on the equity part of that business as well, the common platforms, launched NPS and handled digital gold as well. Worked in Paytm for 3 years, and then when the pandemic was just starting off, joined Byju, launched a product for online classes, currently handling the online classes product for Byju. It's a product called two teacher model where two teachers are present within the class. The product has grown nicely from zero to almost like 300,000 odd paid students over the last 3 years. So this has been my career journey till now.
Excellent. It's a very exciting one, Lijo. I think there are lots of inspirations to be had from taking the first dip into internet, e-commerce, taking a career break, going into acting. So let's talk about each one of those as we progress further. You used a few terms when you were describing your career, and I thought that it will be good for our listeners to understand them. Sharon and I have spoken a lot about brand and brand marketing before this episode. And there are a couple of terms that you spoke about. I thought it'll be good to have your point of view of what is the difference between, for example, brand marketing, then product marketing, product management, and growth marketing. These are 3-4 terms which gets used, and I'm not sure how many of us are very clear about what each one of these means.
I've kind of encountered this question, and I've asked this question, and I've never really found clarity from anybody I've asked this question to. So therefore, we've landed at you, hoping to get clarity with you. No pressure.
Sure, Sharon. Sure, Sudeep. So, see, this lack of clarity has always been there, even when I started my career. So there is this famous note by Marty Kagan, who is a product management practitioner who is well known on the difference between product management and product marketing. So if you look at it, product management is basically defining the user experience and defining the product requirements, which is what we call as shaping the product. So in a consumer internet product, how does the product, what is the consumer insight or the problem that is being solved out there, and how to creatively solve the problem? That is what the product manager is responsible for. While a product marketer is responsible for telling the world about that product, which is a slightly different thing. A product marketer will give a lot of really good inputs to a product manager, which will become one of the core things based on which the product is being created. While the product manager will give similar inputs to a product marketer on some of the differentiate of the product based on which he can do marketing and he can tell the world about the product. That is the difference between product marketer and product marketing. Coming to the growth marketing part and brand marketing. So growth marketing is everything on a consumer internet products minus brand part. So primarily it is ROI driven, which includes any kind of paid marketing, on marketing, any kind of organic marketing. A lot of those things come under growth marketing. But the core of that also is the fact that you can fundamentally, if your product is fundamentally good, then you don't have to worry about marketing at all in a consumer internet product. So you can have examples from India and outside of products like Dropbox or product like Facebook, where the product itself grew viral because of the use case that it was trying to solve. While in the case of brand marketing, it is slightly different. Any kind of association with respect to that product will come in the aspect of brand, which will include parts of product marketing, and parts of growth marketing as well. So when the product grows and there are like multiple products who are chasing the same customer and everything becomes commoditized, that is when the brand will become the differentiator, using which people will start using the product.
Okay, excellent. Now I think it is very well stated. And if I were to ask you, Lijo, product management is critical to formation of the product, various features, etc. around it. A significant role obviously therefore happens when the product is actually getting created, and then possibly later on as a feedback from the market, optimizing the user experience. Then product marketing obviously picks up the features and creates stories around them, or creates narratives around it, how to take it to the market, how to take it to consumer. And that is where I think the growth marketing also starts playing a role.
Correct.
How to make sure that the stories reach maximum number of people with the best amount of ROI. Thereby bringing new users or usage from repeat users. And then lastly, once there is a surfeit of products in the same market that are competing for the same consumer, that is when you need somebody to pick up the brand side of it and create brand associations, which can help you differentiate from other products which are solving for the same use case.
100% you have nailed it correctly, Sudhi. But the only challenge is that all these 4 skill sets are really different, and each of them is a full-time job. Typically, the challenges happen when maybe in startups or even in big companies, people expect one single person to do all these roles, which will become really overwhelming. So that is what happens, that because of which lot of products become incomplete, and the product experience itself breaks down, because the same person will be doing marketing, product management, the brand marketing, the growth marketing, everything together. So that is why each of these disciplines would require somebody who is well versed on it, depending upon the stage of growth of that particular product.
And when we talk about the popular marketing of lead generation and downloads, all of that would be under growth marketing. Brand focus would be under brand marketing.
Yes, you're right.
So Lijo, would this be a cascade thing for a startup? Would a startup first focus on building the product, focus on product marketing, then growth marketing, and then brand marketing? Or does that really vary in different industries?
It actually varies. So I have worked with founders who are very strong in marketing, but there were some other founders who were very strong in product discovery as well. So in the startups, I feel it is really different, and it's a fight for survival. When I say survival, it's a fight for finding the product market fit. So if you find the product market fit, then the marketing part of it would come into place. So essentially, what do you mean by product market fit is primarily that there is somebody out there who has a problem which you are trying to solve and they are ready to pay for it. If you are finding people like that, then you can actually get into marketing. How to expand the scope of those people or the number of those people who are having that problem. That's the way we have to look at it. So in the startup, the first thing that you have to focus on is creating a great product that is solving a customer problem and which has a product market fit. And if the market is large, then you should start with marketing, so lead generation and then brand marketing and things like that.
Got it.
But if the founder has a marketing taste, then you will see that the brand part is always there, even when you are trying to get into that product market fit mode.
So Lijo, now that you've picked it up, I wanted to delve deeper into one specific aspect. When we speak to marketers today, there is interest that all of them express into product marketing and product management separately.
Correct.
Yeah, and we keep hearing all of them inquire about these two, careers in these two, and specifically with the background of internet focused companies.
Correct.
You have had significant experience in these. So can you help our listeners identify what are the key attributes which make you successful in these two careers differently? And what is it that they should expect as a day in the life of either first a product marketer and then a product manager, so that they can picture themselves and see which career are they really meant for and they can really prepare for it?
Yeah, sure. Let's first start with maybe product management. A product manager is someone who is responsible for shaping the product and shipping the product. Now, shaping the product, if you look at the skill sets, it includes consumer insights. When you say consumer insight, it's primarily, the user experience, the fluency with the data, and being the voice of the customer out there. Then the other skill sets that the product manager would require are things like product strategy and product execution. When you say product strategy, it's about how you are able to drive business outcome and how much ownership you have out there. And what is the product vision and road mapping that you are doing as a product manager? That would come under product strategy. And the next is product execution, which includes things like feature specification. How should the users be using your product? And product delivery and product quality, where you work very closely with the engineering. And lastly, in between all this, there is another aspect of influencing people as well. Because as a product manager, you have a lot of responsibility, but you don't have much authority on the people who are working on the product. These people would be from engineering, from design, from marketing, legal, and from multiple other teams. So you need to have very strong influencing skills, up, bottom, as well as among the peers. That is something that is very important. So these are the kind of skills that you would need as a product manager. But for product marketing, it is slightly different, but that consumer insight part still remains the same, because you need to understand, you should speak to the customers, try to understand what is the problem that is being solved, whether that problem is being solved in the best possible way. So that's one part. And unlike a product manager, maybe a product marketing manager should be a little bit more creative on the marketing aspects of it. And the work with engineering may not be as deep as how a product manager would ideally do. because the product manager is also responsible for the product quality and ensuring that product is working as expected, which involves a lot of technical, aspects as well. While a marketing manager does not have to worry about all those things. He would look at a product manager as a partner to ensure that, those things are being taken care of. So the career in product management as well as product marketing management disciplines, both of them are like really fulfilling, but it depends finally on what you want to do. So there are product marketing managers who have become product managers and vice versa as well, as the career progresses. So it finally boils down to what you really want to do and whether you enjoy what you are doing.
Okay, fair. Quick, small one as a rejoinder. To become a product manager, do you need to be a coder in your previous life? Do you need to know coding, or can a non-engineer, non-coding background guy do well as a product manager?
Yeah, a non-coding background guy can do really well as a product manager. Somebody who is coming from an engineering background, they always try to see how the product is superior from a technical point of view. But somebody who is coming from a non-engineering background, they may actually look at it from a user point of view. So I have recruited product managers in my team who were from the background of human resources, from sociology, and from a lot of non-engineering disciplines, who became really stellar product managers as the career progressed. So you need to converse with engineers and you need to have a passion for technology, but you need not know coding, or you don't have to do coding in most of the good product management companies, if you're working as a product manager.
Right. So it's not just the engineers taking all the marketing jobs. It's the other way around also.
Yes. Yes, that's right.
But that takes me to a very interesting point, Lijo. So we both come from a large FMCG background, right? So we have this kick about touching so many people's lives when we see the product in the market, the packs disappearing from the stores and all that. And you worked across brands which touch pretty much every Indian's life today. I don't think anybody would have an email today without ever having gone across Rediff or looked up a doctor and looking up doctors and Practo. I'm sure it still continues with Byju, with Paytm. I think you've touched brands that have touched a lot of people's lives. How do you develop your domain expertise across these brands? Because all of them are very different industries at the end of the day, while they could still be tech-centric. How do you go about something like finances? I'm not sure something I can pick up overnight and work on a new finance product. How do you do all that?
Yeah, so as you progress in your product management career, you can either become a domain expert or you can become a functional expert. So, So when you say a domain expert, somebody who would work only on the fintech product for say X number of years, that is a domain expert. And second is a functional expert, somebody who is very strong from a product management point of view on how to interview customers, how to do the product discovery and create something of value which the customers would admire. So one of the things that I believe have helped me was the fact that I am inherently curious. Sudhi would know, from the time in B school as well. So I wanted to learn a lot about, new things that was happening. And in each of these brands that you mentioned, Sharon, it was a lot of unlearning rather than learning something new of what I had done in my previous role. It's tough, but as long as you enjoy, nothing is tough. So, and you need to adapt and stay relevant as you progress in your career as well. Because when we passed out 20 years back, web development was supposed to be a cool thing, but now that job is no longer there. So tech and product management is a very fast moving, it's an industry that is evolving at a really fast pace.
Right.
Now AI is coming in. So, you need to get ready for that mentally and see how that can be used to improve the lives of customers all across. That's the way you will have to look at it. But most of the good product managers are inherently curious and they would strive to learn new things as they progress in your career, because that is something that you have to do to ensure that you are able to create products which are, really great.
Awesome. I'm going to press on that a little more, Lijo, because I think you're being a little modest there. Curiosity, I get, right?
Yeah.
Now, you're going from one company to another where I don't expect them to have a formal induction process and all that to get you into the industry or the domain you're going to be working in. Do you have any set of learning hacks that accelerates your learning in a specific domain? I ask that because there are a lot of people who in the startup world go from one industry to another. Is that something that you practice, or is there some toolkit or something you do to bring you up to speed? Because I'm sure there's not enough time to do that.
No, there is, you're right. There is no time to do a formal induction or anything like that. And in fact, that is not needed. So what is needed is to have a growth mindset. So when we were creating the product at Paytm Money, the first thing that we did was to ensure that we are interviewing people who have been working in fintech industry for quite some time. But what we realized was that they were not approaching the problems in the way a digital company would do. Say, for example, when we were interviewing people for mutual fund product manager roles, what we realized was that a lot of them were worried about regulators, and how regulators would view the product rather than thinking about how customers would use the product. So that was actually a red flag, when we were interviewing the interviewing the people for the initial product manager role. You can't actually blame those people for that because they have come up from an industry where, that is the way they are attuned to think. So that's what I meant when I said that you need to have a growth mindset and you need to unlearn and then relearn again. To go deep into one example, similar things have happened in all these companies that I have mentioned. And if you look at any of these companies, right, most of these companies have been created by people who are as old as us, by thinking about the same problem in a slightly different way, be it Practo or Paytm or Byju or even, any of the e-commerce companies that were there in India, etc., etc. So the problems have always been there, but how you approach solving the problems is what make it really different. Wow. And that is where a great product manager or a great founding team would create a huge difference.
Amazing. I like how simplistically you put it.
It's quite good, actually. It creates a very good frame of thinking in one's head. So thank you for that, Lijo.
Curiosity and a problem-solving mindset is all you're saying it takes.
Yeah, growth mindset versus, problem mindset.
Fixed mindset. I call the other mindset as fixer mindset.
Fixer mindset, okay.
Yeah, so that is common. You will see these terms being mentioned in a lot of Indian internet companies. But having a growth mindset is what would help you to approach problems in the right way.
Excellent. Fair. Lijo, I know you must be now getting bugged about the fact that we are talking to you only about product management, but forgive us for doing this because we talk a lot about brand and growth and other stuff. Now that we have you at our disposal, so therefore we are going on and on about it. But possibly the last question on that side before we delve into other sides of your personality. You have done a number of product launches by now.
Correct.
Yeah. I'm hoping that there were a number of success. There were a few failures also.
Yeah.
So if it is okay for you, I would want you to recount one success product launch and one failure product launch for our listeners. More importantly, focus on what did you learn from each one of them.
Yeah. So, there have been multiple instances of successes and failures as I progressed in my career. But maybe Paytm Money was one of the most fulfilling successes that I had in my career when we launched it, because already, so even though we were a part of Paytm, we were a separate startup that was based in Bangalore, working from a co-working space. And for the first 4 or 5 months, we didn't even use the brand Paytm for any of the things that we were working on. It was a very tough product to launch. And when we were going out and, meeting various stakeholders, we could see a lot of suspicion in the interactions that they were having with us. But thankfully we could build the trust and it helped us in creating a stellar product. And it was a huge success because the use. So if I still remember those Twitter comments and all those feedback that we got at that point of time, it was really good for all the effort that we had put in over the last 1 year. before launching the product. But the failure was also there because after the launch, within next 2 days, one of India's most prominent newspapers carried a news item on the front page which said that people are struggling to do KYC to access the new Paytm product. Because we never expected so many people to sign up for that product. We had estimated, high 4-digit or 5-digit number of people who would sign up for Paytm money. But it was like the doors opening for a Rajinikanth movie in Tamil Nadu. So the inflow was much more than that. Thankfully, we could work with the larger Paytm team, and we went to some parts in North India where we had a large KYC setup already, and we trained them. That was my first visit to that town. So that's the way we overcame that failure that point of time. But the learning from that is that still, even now, the process that we follow in Paytm was very highly automated, and we could do as many KYCs as a traditional bank by using only 15 or 20 people. And that too within like 20 or 30 minutes. So when we started, it was like 24 hours plus. But we brought down that timeline considerably by doing a lot of automations in the backend. And, that's the way we came out of that. So if you look at it, in the middle of difficulty lies the opportunity, and you should learn from the failures and try to see how you could have, worked on that problem or approached that problem with a slightly different solution to make it even better for the customers who are using the product.
Nice. So we asked for a product management lesson. We got a life philosophy. Thank you for that, Lijo.
I think all the answers have been along the same lines.
Yeah.
I think it's more about the personality.
I think Lijo is slowly moving to the top level of Maslow's hierarchy. And it is fairly expected that you might get a lot of life actualization lessons from Lijo through the course of this podcast. And I'm happy our listeners will get much more than what they bargained for. So I'm not complaining for one. Okay, excellent. So let's now, with Sharan, your permission, let's move ahead of product management.
Yes, please. Let's
and get to another facet of Lijo, which is around angel investing.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, Lijo, angel investing is something which is not very highly penetrated in India. Mm-hmm. Not too many people are currently participating in it. There is a significant potential, right? So we would want to delve a little bit more on this. So first tell us, when you started or in your journey, have you had any mentors on this? How did you pick it up? How did you grow into it?
Yeah. So this started when some of the people who were a part of my team approached me and asked me whether I would be investing in whether I would be interested in doing an angel in their startup. So I had never done angel investing at that point of time, but I knew that the people were good, and the problem was large. And that is how I started angel investing. So I did my share of mistakes, but it has been a good journey in terms of, getting a balcony seat to a lot of companies, which were like just germinating and trying to grow, to a bigger offshoot. So some of the angel investments have been really good. There were some investments in which I got 15x, 20x kind of returns as well. So the idea here is that, whether you can bet on the team that is working on it. So one of the questions that I had in mind always when I do when I was doing any of the angel investments as well, should I invest in team or should I invest in market? So the market may be large, but if the team is not great, then how do you do that? Or the team is really great, but the market is very small, then how do you do that? So I had my fair share of learnings there. But now I go mostly with the problem that they are trying to solve, because I've seen that some of the companies where I had invested initially, some of them pivoted to a different problem and then became even bigger startup as they grew along. So that is the way I had approached it. But I didn't have any mentors. Primarily the people who were a part of my team who was looking for some advice from product or from tech or a growth perspective were the first people who requested for angel investments, and that's the way it has progressed.
Okay. So we get that you focus significantly on the team. Because the team might be solving one problem today, they might pivot to another one. But if the team is good, they will make something out of it. Yeah.
Correct.
Lijo, you worked yourself in multiple startup environments, right? So what is the role you play when you are an angel investor? Do you participate in the business or do you give them guidance? And when you said you have a balcony seat, when you know something's going wrong, what do you do? Do you step in? Do you not step in? I know it's a very delicate equation between the angel investor and the startup team and the founders. How do you manage that?
So in angel investing, until and unless you are being asked for help, you typically stay out of how the company is being run. But since I knew some or most of the people where I have made an investment, they ask for some advices in hiring, sometimes for interviewing people, for product roles, for marketing roles, etc. Sometimes they would, bounce out some ideas. That's the kind of help that is typically requested by most of the founders when you have made a direct investment, and not through a syndicate. So that's the way typically it works. But when I say balcony seat, it's essentially on how the company has progressed over X number of months or X number of years after the angel investment has been made. So it's also a zero-sum game. Either it becomes really big or you may end up making nothing at all. If you're planning to do angel investment, you should ensure that only a certain part of your portfolio goes for angel investments. So everything else remains as it is, and that's a risk that you are taking.
Right.
Okay.
And how do startups reach out to the angel investors? Is it better to approach the syndicates through their websites, or is there a back channel approach that they can get access to? Because I meet a lot of the founders who say, I'm not able to get access to VCs or angels. And when I talk to some of the angels, they say, you just have to go to the website and figure it out. So one side is saying it's so simple, and the other side is saying, I just have no access. So what's the right way to go about this if you're a startup founder?
See, actually, it's really simple to get access to any of the angel investors. The best way to do it is through a common connection. So if there is a common connection who is introducing a startup founder, then that's the best way to go about it. But a lot of people, what they do is that they send cold emails to any of your email IDs by using any of those, lead generation tools or whatever it is. And it's a blind mail that goes to all the angel investors by just changing the name.
Right.
That may not make the cut, but there are some very smart startup founders who specifically will look at your profile, see where you will be able to add value. Then, they write a custom mail saying that you're done this is the way I would be able to, this is the way I'm envisioning your participation as an angel investor in my startup. These are the areas where you would be able to help, etc. So when you get a mail like that, which is specifically customized, then, you end up meeting the founder. And if everything goes good, then you end up making an investment.
Interesting. So there is a lesson here for all the startup owners who are wanting to approach angel partners, that do invest that time, attention, curate your email, think of the role that you want them to play, and be deliberate in your approach. Blanket mass cold email might not fetch you too much.
Correct.
Lead hacking is not the way to get to VCs.
Yeah. Correct.
It needs curation. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair. Now,
but there is one more thing out here.
Yes.
Sudeep, I would say rather than approaching the investors, it has to be the other way around. So there are some very hot deals where everybody wants a participation. Those founders don't go out and try pitching to the angel investors. The angel investors would come in search of them. There are some products which I use, and then after using it, I decided that if I can actually get a participatory role in this, it would be good. And then I try to reach out to the founder. That is the other way as well. It's just that portfolio size is there for a lot of angel investors, and they want to invest. And it's not that you have to reach out to the angel investor. It's the other way around as well. If your product is inherently good, whether it's a consumer internet product or a SaaS product or a D2C product, then you wouldn't have any issues in getting, angel investments.
Okay. So out of all the, for example, products that you have either considered or invested into Lijo, maybe if we were to try and say, just give us one name that you think you were impressed a lot with, and what do you think everybody can learn from how they went about, either opportunity identification or translating that opportunity into some kind of revenue stream, or the sort of pivot that they did, anything that you think we can learn from?
So there is this company called Go Quick.
Okay.
It started by our juniors only, Sudi, for maybe like 3-4 years junior to us. As soon as I saw the pitch, I was like, I have to invest in it. And that is one of my highest multi-baggers in the portfolio. Now, now the thing that is slightly, frustrating for me is that I didn't invest too much in there. So it was actually a good one. So I hope they will prosper as they go along.
Okay. And GoQuick is a checkout company?
Yes.
It's a checkout product.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. And what do you think they got right? Is it the opportunity identification, or their PMF was great? What do you think was good about them?
Yeah, both. So the founder, I don't have daily interactions with them, etc. But the founder had worked in an e-commerce company, and it was very evident in his pitch that he was very clear about the problem that he was trying to solve. This was in the initial pitch.
Okay.
When people were not ready to invest in him.
Okay. Fair. I've even heard that a number of checkout startups also got incubated at this one, Shopify.
Okay.
Yeah, even globally.
Okay.
Because that's a problem which, I think a lot of the people have tried to solve for. Yeah, even small stores who want to create a store on Shopify and therefore are struggling with checkout problems.
Yeah.
And checkout is a lot about, one, making sure that the fulfillment happens. Number two, all the discount coupons and everything that you want to customize there. So it seems like a problem which possibly has a lot of dimensions to it.
Yeah, that is correct. So that's why I was saying that new opportunities would keep on coming in. So in 14 years back, when we were fresh out of B school, e-commerce was a big opportunity. Now each of the specific sectors in e-commerce itself is a big opportunity. So as things grow, the new opportunities would keep on coming in, and smart entrepreneurs would always discover those and will try to solve it in a creative way.
Okay, right. Excellent. So now you as somebody who is now one, a creator within this space, number two, an angel investor and a ringside viewer or a balcony viewer, as he said it, of this space. Okay. If you were to advise some of the marketing students or the entrepreneurs, the startup entrepreneurs, that this is one space you should look at, is going to hot up a lot, this is some place that you should invest your capability and effort into, what would that be?
I don't have a clear answer to that, Suri, but I believe that agri-tech, climate tech, etc. would be like really large. Okay. People are really excited about AA as well, but they are excited about AA as a technology, and they are not excited about how AA would solve some of the consumer problems. Yeah. But there may be some places where you can deploy AA as well. But currently, most of the things that is being solved, or that where the approaches are coming, are like very basic tactical level problems. But agri-tech, climate tech, new things would keep on coming in. So not sure about that completely.
Okay, fair.
So you are asking me to predict future. If I could do that.
Lijo is being humble. And for those of you who are listening to us, AI right now in the last comment that he made is artificial intelligence. It is not angel investing.
Oh, yeah, correct.
Okay, I'm going to pick up on that, Lijo. I'm going to turn that around and say, a lot of the angel investors keep talking about maintaining a deal flow. For our listeners, could you tell us what a deal flow is, and how does an angel investor maintain deal flow?
So typically, these are the early stage companies who are seeking investments from you. So that is known as deal flow. So you need to have contacts. You need to have other ways in which these companies should be reaching out to you. So essentially, if the pool of the companies that is reaching out to you is really large, then you can pick and choose from them. And you can deploy your capital accordingly. So I'm a part of the investment committee of some of the funds as well. Analyze some of these companies from a product and a few other perspectives. So out of the 20 or 30 companies that are being analyzed in any of these investment companies, typically the investments goes to one or two. So before you do one angel investment, you need to look at 30 or 40 or even maybe more companies, depending upon your risk appetite, depending upon your investment thesis and multiple other things.
And this is about you having access to all these startups before you can make a decision on where you want to invest. Correct.
And it also shows the investment in terms of time that you have to do. 30 startups means you'll have to spend time with each of them, try to understand what they are trying to do. Is the problem really worth solving or investing in? What is the size of the market, etc. So anybody who is new to angel investment, they can actually enroll into syndicates in angel list or less venture, etc. Do some initial investments, figure out how it is. And then, then you can actually go out and do some investments on your own.
Awesome.
Fair. Okay, very good. I think that is really helpful, not just from angel investment point of view, but also from a startup point of view. The guys who are looking to raise investment. And Lijo, any advice for entrepreneurs in what is being termed as a funding winter, where everybody is trying to prune their run rates and especially the spending run rates, and therefore everybody is really thinking that funding is not really available. People are asking hard questions, etc. Any advice for the entrepreneurs during this context?
See, the early stage funding is very active even now for angel investments or maybe like till Series A. The funding is really active out there. Now everybody is a little bit cautious. Is the only chain that has come in, but late stage funding is relatively difficult, as you can see in all the news things, etc. But it's a good thing since most of the so it's a wake up call, and the companies would become much more efficient internally on how they are deploying their resources, not only cash but also people and other resources as well. So the age of chasing growth at the cost of whatever is gone, now it will be like prudent choices that will be made to ensure that there will be profitable growth.
That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, it's a good thing.
It's an excellent thing, actually, if you ask me.
Yeah. And from what you're saying, if I were to paraphrase what you're saying, Lijo, is that there is no funding winter at the early stage. So the startup founders are going in for their seed, pre-seed, A. They don't have to be worried or even consume too much of the news that's going on about the funding winter because it doesn't necessarily concern them.
Yeah. You're right. That's the way currently the things are.
So winter is not coming.
Winter is existing only in some areas is what I would say.
At the top of the pyramid.
Yeah, maybe.
Correct. Okay. Excellent. So now, Lijo, from dispensing knowledge around product marketing to sharing your experiences within angel investing, now is the time where we mine some of your advice for people who are starting out their careers.
Okay.
Right. So our podcast gets listened to by a number of marketing students and some number of people who are working currently with either startups or agencies who service the startups. And they also look for some advice around building capability or how to shape their careers.
Correct.
Right. Both sides is where we get most of our questions from. So any advice that you have for tech marketers who want to enter into this space, looking to enter from a career point of view, what would you tell them?
The first advice is to ensure that you're finding out what you really enjoy. If you find out what you really enjoy, and then you won't look at what you're doing as work, because if it is enjoyable, then you won't mind doing it at whatever time of the day and whatever the effort it takes. That's the fundamental thing that you need to remember. That is one part. Second, I believe that the age of working for a single company till 60 years and then retiring, that is gone now. The companies itself are not surviving. So you should actually look at your career in two stages. The first stage is where you are experimenting and what I would call as exponential phase of your career. So that's a stage in which you should take moonshot with few startups and try to see whether you can make it or not. So working for startups is really tough, by the way. So working for 3 years in a startup is equivalent to working for 10 years in an established company, because there will be so much learning and the intensity is much.
Right.
And the second stage of your career after exponential phase is the steady state of your career, where if you got a moonshot, then it is well and good. So in the steady state of your career, you can think about, starting something on your own, or being an advisor, or progressing within the company where you have been already working, etc., with less intensity. That is maybe after, say, 40 years or whatever it is. So that's the way you should actually look at your career. And you should also decide whether you will become a domain expert or a functional expert, whether even in marketing or even in product management or any of the, disciplines like that. So if you love fintech and product management, you want to become a fintech product manager throughout your career. Or if you love product management only, then you can actually get a chance to work on multiple things. That's the way you have to look at your career. That is one part. To summarize, first find what you really enjoy doing and then make a career out of it. Second, divide your career into two phases. Exponential phase, where you take some moonshot with startups and few things that you really wanted to do, but you never could do. And second is a steady state, where once you understand what you really enjoy doing, and if some of your moonshots are successful, then you can get into a steady state. That's the way I would look at planning my career now. Because one of the reasons for this, Sudhi, is because none of these companies that I mentioned that I worked, over the last 16 years, none of them existed when we passed out of B school.
Correct.
Yeah. So none of them existed when we passed out of B school. So somebody who is passing out of B school now, or who is starting fresh now, we are speaking about the companies which have not been invented till now.
Correct.
So that's the way you will have to look at it.
Interesting. That's a very good way of looking at it. It is inspiring as well as scary at the same time.
Yes.
So bringing this back, Lijo, to say, we are talking about the conversation of business of brands here on the podcast. So how do you see marketing in technology and the role of technology in marketing evolving going forward? Because I know you're at the forefront of it. So what are there any trends that we should be paying attention to? Is that something that's happening behind the scenes on the tech and the marketing front? What's going on?
When I look into it, what I see is that because of technology, marketing is becoming a lot ROI driven. So when I say ROI driven, when I used to speak to CMOs in 2010s, etc., it was all about brand, and related aspects. But now, when we speak to CMOs, the same CMO, they are speaking about leads and content marketing and MarTech, HubSpot and all that. See, marketing would be here to stay. Technology would help marketing to do it in a better way. But one thing that is slightly disconcerting for me is that the human element of marketing, sometimes I feel that we tend to forget about it when we are chasing ROIs, which is one part, that was pretty good in the old times. So everything would reinvent as it comes along, and things should fall into place in the right way.
Right. What do you mean by the human element, teacher? Can I press you on that a little more?
Yeah. So So what I mean by that is that the traditional way in which we had looked at STP, that S has so many subsets, T also has so many subsets, P also has so many subsets. So which is the subset to which we should be marketing to?
Right.
Very difficult call to take. So that's what I meant when I'm speaking about the human element. We are not speaking about a single cohort that used to watch, the old Chitrahar, when you put a ad there, the FMCG, product sales used to boom. Now there are so many channels, so many messages. How do we ensure that everything remain consistent all throughout? Who are we really marketing to? That is what I meant when I was speaking about human element.
Right. The people who we want to talk to. It's communication at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. It's communication at the end of the day.
Yeah. And I think communication and the specific fact is, like Lijo kept saying repeatedly, you're finally solving a human problem.
Exactly.
Yeah. Correct. Technology is an enabler. So therefore, understanding the human and their problem is very critical. And maybe what he meant was probably we lose ourselves in leads and data and CPL and etc. too much, and we forget that there is a person at the other end who is supposed to have a problem and we are supposed to solve for it.
Correct, exactly. That is what. So you nailed it.
Okay, nice. So Lijo, we also get approached by a lot of people who are worried about their future prospects, or who are currently entrepreneurs who are serving startups. They get worried about AI and ML. Yeah, stating that there's a lot of noise around AI and ML taking up jobs, taking up a lot of stuff which otherwise was getting serviced via agencies or getting serviced via people who are in-house within the companies. And how would that impact their job prospects? What should they do around it? Any point of view there? Any advice for people?
Yeah. So see, there is no point in fighting AI. The way in which I was looking at it is that how you can coexist with AI. The same fear that you told about so many jobs being taken by AI. Earlier, when we had to write any product requirements document, it was actually maybe a 1 week job to do a well-written product requirements document in product management. Now you tell the exact details to ChatGPT or whichever is the AI system that you're using, and you will get a well-formatted, well-thought-out document within maybe 10 minutes. That fear is across the sectors, how things would evolve as we move along, not only in marketing.
Yeah.
So you have to wait and watch and see how things are, evolving as we move forward. But another way to approach it is that, so much time that I was spending on this, I can use AI and make it really fast. But whatever AI is giving, the same output is out there for all the people who are trying to use AI. But you can actually differentiate and create it in a better way by using the right prompts or right questions, going deeper and things like that. So my expectation is that AI will get a lot of time to think about the problems, about the strategy, etc. And all these low-level tactical things that is being done can be outsourced to AI. That's the way that I was looking at it. Forget marketing and product management. Think about BPO. Think about, all those low-level, no, I wouldn't say low-level, all those manual tasks which can be easily automated. There lies the challenge.
Especially in marketing, it frees up time for the human element to come back into focus.
Yeah. No, I think he also, I echo the same thing. And I heard Naval Ravikant say this some time back, that finally all humans are made to do some creative job. And AI allows you to spend time on that without really, spending time on mundane things.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's just this one thought around singularity, Lijo. That from employing AI to being employed for AI, how far are we?
Again, you are asking me to predict future, but I don't think but I don't think we are being very far. I don't think we are very far from those days.
Okay.
We'll have to figure out how it is.
Okay.
The
Fair.
AI activists will also come into
Picture. Yes.
come into picture in some time.
Yes. No, in fact, I was listening to this podcast again between Joe Rogan and Naval Ravikant. And Naval says that the days when AI will start employing us will only start when we are able to mimic what human brain does.
Correct.
And right now we are very, very far away. We are able to mimic only digital signals on, off. That's it.
Yeah.
But nature has made the brain so complex that it is very difficult to replicate it.
Yeah.
So therefore, he was giving at least a good amount of confidence that at least in our lifetime, we are far away from singularity.
Yeah. So let's see.
I just thought I'll get Lijo's affirmation on that and rest peacefully tonight.
Yeah. I mean, so you'll have to wait and see how this is evolving. It's too fast. The way in which AI is evolving, or any of the technical aspects around, ML or AI is evolving, is really, really fast.
Any particularly interesting use case of AI that you have employed?
See, my wife is a teacher. She used to spend, rather than my use case, I was actually observing her. And once I showed her how AI can be done, she has been like trying to use AI for creating some questions and lesson plans, etc., which used to take a lot of time, earlier.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I taught her how this can be done. And she has been using it in a very smart way. So,
nice.
I'm just saying there are so many use cases out there. Anybody can use AI. It is so simple to use. But it may not replace search, but it is so simple to use.
Nice. Now that's a great example, Lijo, for something which possibly we might see every day around us. Anybody whether you are working in tech space or not, you can employ AI to make yourself more efficient.
Correct.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it is a productivity tool, and it's really up to the individuals how they want to leverage it and add, like you said, their own spice into the mix and see what cooks up.
Correct.
And
I think the first persons who will get replaced are marketing consultants, Sharon.
Marketers, the consultants will survive.
No. Lijo, don't get hassled with it. We keep taking pot shots, so don't worry about it.
No. He keeps taking pot shots at me. I never need to take a pot shot at him because all his breed are my prospective clients.
Excellent. No, I think this was good fun. These are some of the things that we thought we will talk to you about, Lijo. Many of these aspects are some things that we come across from time to time. Neither Sharon nor I are honestly qualified enough to talk about most of these aspects. We know about it from general chat that we have heard around it, but we were really looking for a subject matter expert who could speak from their experience and, give some qualified knowledge to our listeners so that they can benefit from it. I think at least I'm very happy with what I got. I'm hoping that the listeners also got their due.
Okay, great.
I'm sure. And we rarely come across a person with an MBA background not having taken the traditional path, and even in the non-traditional path, branch out into acting in documentaries and then coming back to work in startups. I think the personality is what has driven the conversation today, and the experiences you've therefore gathered because of your personality. So thank you so much for sharing this with us, Lijo.
Yeah. Pleasure, Sharon. Pleasure, Sudhi. It was actually really fun speaking to both of you. But what we have to remember at the end of the day is that there are so many things that we can do in life, and we should not compartmentalize ourselves to only one thing and not know whatever is there in unknown. And we should not be having the regret when we are like 80 or 90 that I could have done this, I could have done that. So just ensure that you are living each day to its fullest.
Wow.
See, I told you, Sharon. Life philosophy is not far away when you're talking to Lijo. The Maslow's hierarchy shows up.
You've actualized this episode now, finally.
No.
Thank you for this, Lijo. I think it's been a great pleasure.
Yeah. No, so the next thing that I want to do is do some organic farming. So I'm getting ready for that. So let me see how it proceeds.
Oh, lovely.
So I'll try to see how that part is coming along. That is something that I want to experience. So we'll figure out as we move forward.
Very good. I think, Sharan, next we should host Lijo sometime later on a podcast as a tech farmer.
Yes.
Farmer who is completely tech enabled, and that is why I said he is looking at agri-tech space.
AI, agro-tech. is the combination we're going to put together.
Correct. So
and yet with AI, you will have organic.
Yeah, 100% organic. So. Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Good. I think this was good fun, Lijo. Thank you for doing this. We hope to host you sometime, possibly later again as well in your latest avatar. And till then, thank you very much from all our listeners as well as us. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. It's a pleasure, Sharan and Sudhi. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for hosting.
Thank you for listening to CoBB, Conversations on the Business of Brands with Sudeep Chawla and Sharavana Raghavan. Subscribe and learn more at cobcast.net. That's CoBBcast.net.